the leader of the Attitude Era, the guy who started the WWF and put it into a really good place, and WWE would not be where it is today without this man. Single-handedly carried the company of the Attitude Era, and that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin is absolutely iconic. Many people claim this man to be the greatest of all time, and for good reason, actually. Stone Cold did a lot in the mid-90s, and even to the early 2000s when he was starting to run shorter on his time in the WWE before he decided to retire in 2003. But Stone Cold did so much, and he had such a legendary career, and many people really do like to look at his career for what he did and realize the great work that he brought in. Obviously, he didn't have a super long career in the WWE because most people in the WWE, their career went on for a while, but Stone Cold had a shorter career spanning to 7 years. But Stone Cold really did bring this it factor to the WWE. It's almost like it's just not what we see nowadays in the WWE. And there was just something about his character that really stood out to a lot of people. The fact that, he had a more rough, tough, brash attitude. He didn't really take anything from anybody. He would always come in, he had his iconic beer drinking, truck driving. It was insane. And we never saw anything like this during the mid-90s. Now, granted, I will just go on a record and say I wasn't born in the 80s or the 90s, so I didn't see Stone Cold in his prime. But I do watch the clips, and I do see why a lot of people call this man the greatest of all time. In fact, I'll just go on record and say he's in my top 3 for all I can say. But Stone Cold really had a different type of attitude. He had a different aura around him, and it really stood out to a lot of people. That's why so many people loved his character, was because it was something that we never saw. Because you gotta remember, this was during the time of the 80s, where Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and, Ricky Steamboat were big. They weren't as vocal and vulgar like Stone Cold is. This man literally will flip you off on TV and he will not care. And he's the only one who can do that and get away with it, which is actually insane to think. And I know I already mentioned the fact that he drinks beers, but it really adds to his character because it almost makes it feel like watching him just chug the beers and stuff. It almost adds the comedic factor to it. His 2 greatest rivalries, the McMahon rivalry and then the Rock rivalry. I've already touched base on The Rock multiple times on this channel, and, you guys already know how I feel about Stone Cold and The Rock. They're literally iconic. These two are peanut butter and jelly. These two literally are Tom and Jerry in real life. They go together so well because the fact that these two literally have gotten the best and the worst out of each other, and we've seen these two wrestle each other from 97, 98, all the way up to 03. And it's just amazing to see. Stone Cold and The Rock really did just tear the house down every time they had a match together. And their 3 WrestleMania matches are iconic because everybody sees that they had a great chemistry together. They literally felt like they were the greatest rivals at the time. In my opinion, it is the greatest rivalry in the WWE. I'm just going to go on record and say that right now. Because Stone Cold and The Rock were both really great rivals. Well, now we also have the Stone Cold and the Mr. McMahon rivalry. These two literally fit perfectly for this time. Because think about it like this. You could relate to this story in some way because Mr. McMahon is a boss, and sometimes you don't want to work for your boss, and sometimes you really don't care to listen to orders or listen to what people have to tell you. And that's why Stone Cold worked perfectly, because he was so relatable in that area. You literally he was crossed the boss and gave him the middle fingers, and he didn't care whatsoever. And that's why when you really think about it, Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon is in that way awesome. Like, there's no other way to put it. It's amazing with what these two did. And it's almost funny to think, because it's almost like any chance that Stone Cold could get, he always was chasing down Ms. McMahon. Stone Cold and Ms. McMahon, they just always delivered. You know, there was a great story being told there. The fact that it all just started with Stone Cold saying he can kiss his ass to Mr. McMahon and stunned him, and that's what started their rivalry. And even, it's crazy to think that even after Stone Cold did retire, it was still fun to just see how Stone Cold did chase Mr. McMahon around, and he still did have his moments with Mr. McMahon. It was almost so believable, as if like you could tell these two hated each other in the WWE, and that on TV they literally despise each other. But really, in real life, they do have a good relationship. I mean, it was fitting that Vince McMahon was the one to induct Stone Cold into the Hall of Fame. So we just don't really see that nowadays. Stone Cold was just a different type of animal. I can recall so many moments that happened with Stone Cold's career that I know many of you guys can really relate to. Like, look at it like this. Remember when Stone Cold filled Mr. McMahon's Corvette with the cement to the ring in a Zamboni, and then he just started attacking Mr. McMahon out of nowhere? Remember when he came to the ring with the beer truck, and then he just started spraying the corporate team, Mr. McMahon, The Rock, and Shane, all with beer? That was insane. Like, there were so many unique moments that Stone Cold did. He just did a lot of things that were so unpredictable. You know, anytime he would drink, he would always do his thing where he would drink with somebody and then he would just stunner them, which was awesome. His stunner is without a doubt one of the most iconic things in the WWE, just for the simple fact that it's quick, it's fast, and speaking of stunning, it's also cool to notice that how Stone Cold Steve Austin would stun The Rock, and The Rock would oversell it. It was amazing to see. And that's not even all, though, but we can also talk about Stone Cold's entrance. His entrance is also awesome to see, too, because anytime that glass would break, the glass would shatter, everybody would lose it and go insane, because their hero was coming out. Even if Stone Cold was a heel and he'd come out, he still would get cheered by the fans. He was a tweener. He would always be cheered, whether he was a good guy or not a good guy. He was a good guy because he got cheered by the fans, but yet he did heelish stuff that made him stand out, and that was really cool to see. Dude literally had the most massive pops in the WWE, and especially when he'd be gone for a long time and then he'd return. Like, for example, when he returned in 2000, that was an amazing pop that he got. Anytime he would come out, he would always get the fans hyped. It didn't matter what he was going to do. This man could literally be 80 years old in a wheelchair, and everybody still would get excited if he comes out. And we just don't see that anymore. And I really just think that Stone Cold was a guy that it was really great that he happened in the WWE, because without Stone Cold Steve Austin, the WWE would not be where it is today. Stone Cold was the guy that literally held it down. Stone Cold may have not done it as long as Cena, but Stone Cold did do something that was pretty unique to see, and he was universally loved by many in the WWE. That's really all I have to say for this video. There's not much else for me really to say, because of just the simple fact that this man is too legendary, and I did say quite a bit in this video. But yeah, what do you guys think of Stone Cold overall? And what was one of your guys' favorite moments? I really would like to hear that, because there are so many moments I love with Stone Cold, but my favorite will always be his moment with The Rock, where him and The Rock were literally in the ring and they were just going back and forth for 15 minutes. So I thought that was one of my favorite moments of all time. But yeah, well, let me know what you guys think about this. I really would love to hear it. Make sure you comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.